It really feels like every other week there's some groundbreaking new AI model just
hmm
appearing. And if you're anything like us, you've probably been playing with them, and it's this, I don't know, amazing, sometimes even a little unsettling experience.
It really is a whirlwind. The landscape is just changing so fast, it's almost hard to keep track.
Absolutely. And, well, cutting through that noise is exactly what we're trying to do today. We've done a deep dive into this really fascinating conversation with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, at TED 2025. This isn't just about the new shiny tools, it's about what they actually mean. For all of us, we're going to explore the astonishing capabilities of the current AI models, the profound implications for society, for creative work, OpenAI's sort of evolving approach to safety and open source, and some really deep foundational questions about where AI is inevitably heading.
Yeah, and by the end of this, you should have a much clearer, more comprehensive picture of where AI is truly going, what the key people in the field are thinking, and importantly, the critical challenges and opportunities that are right in front of us. It's kind of a shortcut to getting informed, hopefully with some aha moments too.
Okay, so to kick things off, let's maybe unpack some of those really compelling examples Sam Altman shared. Things that show what these models can actually do right now.
Right, and what's really striking, I think, is how these capabilities go way beyond just, generating an image or some text. It hints at something deeper, almost like a conceptual understanding within the models.
You see that straight away with Sora, right? Their image and video generator. Chris Anderson, the TED host, he asked Sora to imagine Sam Altman giving these shocking revelations on stage.
Yeah, that was a fun prompt.
And the result, well, Sam himself gave it a B+. He noted 5 fingers on all hands, which is apparently a milestone.
Right, historically tricky for AI image gen.
And that it was very close to what Sam was wearing. He did say, though, he's not that animated of a person in real life, so the AI maybe exaggerated his gestures a bit.
But even that little imperfection, it highlights how close they're getting, doesn't it, to mimicking us, almost.
Exactly. But then there was that moment that was, well, genuinely astounding, I thought, when Sora was asked to make a conceptual diagram showing the difference between intelligence and consciousness.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. It produced something so simple visually, but also really profound. It showed the model wasn't just grabbing images, it was tapping into the advanced reasoning, what Sam called the core intelligences of GPT-4o underneath.
It was visually explaining a complex philosophical idea,
Yeah.
simply, which is wow.
Right. Not just image generation, but concept illustration.
And it gets even more philosophical, doesn't it? There was that example, kind of profound, he called it, of an AI imagining Charlie Brown, thinking of himself as an AI. And Sam Altman's sort of meta answer to that was something like, there's really no way to know if it is thinking that or it just saw that a lot in the training set.
Right.
And of course, if you can't tell the difference, how much do you care? Which, it underlines this critical point. If the output looks like thinking, maybe the philosophical question becomes less relevant than the practical impact.
That blurring of lines, it leads right into the new memory feature in ChatGPT, doesn't it? The whole idea that the model can get to know you over the course of your lifetime.
Yeah.
Chris Anderson talked about his reaction. His jaw dropped when he asked ChatGPT about himself, and it just knew his interests already. He said he felt real excitement, a little bit queasy, but mainly excitement.
A little bit queasy, I get that. It's moving beyond just a tool you use once, isn't it?
Exactly. It's this vision of AI becoming an extension of yourself, this companion.
Which is a huge leap in personalization, but yeah, like Chris said, maybe feels a bit much sometimes. And it's not just personal stuff either. Sam Altman highlighted software development. He said it's already been pretty transformed, and he expects another move that big in the coming months. He mentioned engineers having these religious-like moments.
Yeah, doing work in an afternoon that, used to take them
2 years.
2 years, that's the quote.
Yeah.
It's just a staggering acceleration. It fundamentally changes how things get built.
And Sam Altman himself, he seems most excited, personally, about AI in science. He called it the most important driver of the world.
Yeah, he mentioned scientists being more productive with the new models and this real hope for meaningful progress against disease with AI-assisted tools. He even brought up room temperature superconductors.
Right, saying it's not prevented by the laws of physics, implying AI could actually help us find it faster.
Exactly. So when you put all these examples together, it's clear this isn't just, tech demos. It shows AI moving towards being able to assist, understand, and really transform huge parts of work and life. Less a tool, more a collaborator.
Okay, so collaborator. That word itself brings us right to the human side of things, doesn't it? What does all this actually mean for us, for our jobs, our creativity, the basic economics of, well, what humans do?
Yeah, this is where it gets really complex. It raises these huge questions about adaptation, about fairness, in a landscape that's just changing incredibly fast.
Totally. And on jobs, Sam Altman talked about these two views people have. Like, take management consultants. One view is fear. Oh no, it's doing everything I do.
Right.
The other is opportunity. Okay, new tool, I can actually do a lot more now. His point was that the expectation of what we'll have for someone in a particular job increases, but the capabilities will increase so dramatically. So the human role changes, maybe expands.
But then you have the whole IP issue. Intellectual property, copyright. It's a huge challenge. That Peanuts example, Charlie Brown as an AI,
Yeah.
that immediately flags the IP theft concern.
Yeah, and Chris Anderson brought up the journalist Carol Cadwalader, how an AI generated a talk in her style without permission. These aren't theoretical problems.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But Altman's vision, or maybe his hope, is that these tools should ultimately lift up our creativity. He believes they'll let new people create better art, better content, write better novels. He seems to have this really deep belief that humans will be at the center of that.
Okay, but how does that square with, people getting paid? He did acknowledge they need to figure out some sort of new model around the economics of creative output.
Right, and the tricky part is how much inspiration is too much inspiration, especially when everyone has access and people are constantly building off of each other's ideas all the time. Where's the line? How do you value contributions?
It's messy. He mentioned their current image generator policy, right?
Yeah.
It won't do that if you ask for a living artist's style by name.
But it will generate something based on a vibe or an art movement,
Yeah.
which is an interesting distinction. And he drew this parallel to how copyright law eventually sorted out things like fair use. The suggestion being, we'll need a new model that we figure out for AI, probably through some combination of law and just society adapting. It won't be neat.
And you can feel that tension now. He acknowledged that some creative people are very upset and scared, while others see AI as the most amazing tool ever. He seems genuinely empathetic, actually, to people who wish this change weren't happening, understands the disruption is hard.
And interestingly, he floated the possibility, in principle, of calculating revenue share if someone's name is used in a prompt. He seemed interested in exploring a new model where if you say, I want to do it in the name of this artist, and they opt in, there's a revenue model there.
Okay, that could be a path forward, maybe, addressing some of those creator concerns directly.
Potentially. It shows they're thinking about it, at least.
So yeah, the implications here are just huge. Not just jobs potentially changing, but this massive potential for creative amplification. If we can figure out the economics and the ethics, it really makes you think about your own work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How might this change things for you? What opportunities pop up?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit now to OpenAI itself. Their incredible growth, their changing views on open source, and of course, the absolutely critical conversation around AI safety.
Right. And connecting this to the bigger picture. We're really talking about navigating just unprecedented scale and societal impact. There's no real playbook for this.
No kidding. That growth number for ChatGPT, 500 million weekly actives, Sam Altman called it shocking, said he's never seen growth in any company like this. He was pretty open about his teams being exhausted and stressed, just trying to keep the lights on.
You could imagine. And related to that scale, there's the open source question. Altman now says open source has an important place.
Yes, which is a bit of a shift, maybe.
It seems so. They plan to release a very powerful open source model, something near the frontier, he said, and better than any current open source model out there. Even knowing, as he put it, there will be people who will use this in ways that some people don't like. He admitted OpenAI was maybe late to act on that.
Interesting. And he also talked about their strategy, right? He thinks very smart models will eventually become commoditized, like available everywhere.
Yeah, less of a unique advantage over time.
So OpenAI's focus isn't just the best model, but building the best defining product. Things like that integrated memory feature we talked about. It's about the user experience, the whole package.
That's a really key strategic point, product over just the raw model. Now, on safety, this is obviously huge. Altman was very clear. OpenAI is not secretly sitting on a conscious model or something that's capable of self-improvement that's out of control right now.
Okay, so reassuring.
Maybe. But he immediately pivoted to the real big AI risks. First, misuse. Things like new kinds of bioterror or a real cybersecurity challenge. Really scary stuff. And second, the risk of models that are capable of self-improvement in a way that leads to some sort of loss of control. That's the more existential thing, right? AI evolving beyond our ability to manage it. He actually put disinformation lower on the list than those two.
Wow. Okay. So how are they approaching that safety challenge?
They have an internal preparedness framework, basically a set of safety checks before they release anything major. When asked about people leaving their safety team, he acknowledged clearly different views about AI safety systems, but stressed OpenAI's proud safety record, especially given, 10% of the world uses their stuff. His argument is for this iterative process. Deploy models, get feedback, learn, and adapt while the stakes are relatively low, rather than waiting for perfection, which might never come or might come too late.
Okay, that makes sense in a way. Learn by doing, carefully.
And he specifically called out agentic AI that can pursue projects on its own as the most interesting and consequential safety challenge. That example of operator booking a restaurant, it's an incredible superpower, lets the AI act for you.
But also a little bit scary, as he said. You're giving up control.
Exactly. And trust is everything there. He said, you will not use our agents if you do not trust that they're not going to empty your bank account or delete your data. Foundational.
Absolutely. And what about policy? He seems to have shifted his thinking there, too.
Yeah, he mentioned that a government licensing agency, which he'd previously suggested, maybe isn't quite the right policy proposals anymore, given how fast things move. But he still strongly advocates for external safety testing for the really advanced models. Some kind of system so we all get to understand what's being released in the world. Transparency, accountability.
Got it. And then there's that idea, is this all just inevitable anyway?
Right. He kind of framed it like a fundamental discovery, like fundamental physics that the world now knows about.
Yeah.
His take was basically, this is going to happen. He thinks society will figure it out over time, but maybe with some big mistakes along the way.
Big mistakes. Yeah, that's sobering. And finally, on this section, there was that interesting point about user feedback versus expert opinions.
Oh yeah, the shift towards much more permissive stance on certain speech harms in their image model. Altman said he was proud of that change. He's much more interested in what our hundreds of millions of users want as a whole than decisions made in small elite summits. He even suggested AI could help humanity be wiser and make better collective governance decisions, which is a big claim.
It is. But it all really underlines this constant tension, doesn't it, between pushing innovation forward and ensuring safety. And it suggests that our feedback, yours, mine, everyone's, actually matters more now in shaping how this unfolds.
Definitely feels that way. It's less top-down.
Okay, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. We need to dive into the deepest questions here. Who actually has the moral authority to build technology that could literally reshape humanity's future? And what kind of future are we even building?
Yeah, these are the profound ones. The questions about personal responsibility, collective responsibility, when the stakes are this incredibly high, there aren't easy answers.
Yeah. And one of the most powerful questions actually came from OpenAI's own advanced AI model, this experimental O1 Pro version they have for reasoning. It asked Sam Altman point blank, Sam, given that you're helping create technology that could reshape the destiny of our entire species, who granted you or anyone the moral authority to do that? And how are you personally accountable if you're wrong?
Wow. From the AI itself, that's quite something.
Right. Talk about holding up a mirror. And his response, he acknowledged he's a nuanced character, gets both praise and criticism. He went back to OpenAI's mission to make AGI and distribute it, make it safe for the broad benefit of humanity. Said the tactics have shifted, but the mission focus is very strong.
So grounding it in the mission. But what about the power itself, the ring of power idea that maybe tech CEOs get corrupted by it all?
Yeah, Elon Musk used that analogy against him. Altman's response was interesting. He claimed he feels shockingly the same as before. Described the monotony of day-to-day life involved in building this stuff, sort of suggesting the sheer work involved keeps him grounded, maybe.
An interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Less dramatic than you might expect.
He also talked about becoming a parent, said having a child changed a lot of things, called it the most amazing thing that has ever happened. But he also said he didn't need a kid for that part, the part about caring about not destroying the world. But he did admit it makes him definitely think more about what the future will be like for him, for his son. Adds a personal layer to it all.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes the future less abstract.
And on that critique, from people like Tristan Harris, that it's this dangerous, inevitable race, Altman pushed back. He argued that People slow things down all the time if the technology is not ready, because something's not safe enough, because something doesn't work. He insisted there's deep care to get this right inside OpenAI, not just a reckless dash.
Whether you agree or not, that's his stance.
Hmm.
That they are being careful, despite the speed.
Exactly. And then finally, he shared this really powerful, maybe even slightly unsettling vision for the future, for his son's generation, for all future generations.
What was that?
He basically said they will never be smarter than AI. They'll live in a world with incredibly smart, incredibly capable products, experiencing incredible material abundance. And his hope is that his kids, and all kids, will look back at us with some, like, pity and nostalgia.
Gee.
Yeah, pity. Like, they lived such horrible lives, they were so limited, the world sucked so much compared to the future AI enables.
Wow, that's a really strong vision. Abundance so great that our current lives seem pitiable.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? About your own hopes, your fears for what's coming, and what values should guide us as we build this incredibly powerful technology. What kind of world do you actually want?
Yeah, deep questions.
So just to kind of wrap things up, we've covered a lot. These incredible, sometimes maybe unnerving AI capabilities, making diagrams, acting as companions. We've tackled the really complex human questions about jobs, creativity, the economics of it all, the need for new models, for being responsible together.
And we looked at OpenAI's massive growth, their sort of evolving path with open source, and how they're trying to manage the huge safety challenges.
Right. Hopefully you feel like you have a much deeper, more nuanced grasp now of the cutting edge of AI, the challenges, the opportunities, straight from someone right at the center of it all.
It's a lot to process, for sure.
Definitely. And thinking about that final vision from Sam Altman, this future of incredible material abundance where humans are massively amplified and future generations might look back at us with pity, it leaves us with a pretty big question, I think.
Which is?
If AI does deliver that kind of abundance, if it handles many of our traditional struggles, our basic needs, even complex tasks, what becomes the new frontier for human striving? What's left for us to do?
What defines a meaningful life, then? What kind of work or purpose do people find when AI does so much of the heavy lifting?
Exactly. What do you think that future might mean for your own goals, your aspirations, and what questions would you want to ask next? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.